And pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So our first order of business tonight is consideration of minutes for the regular meeting of the District Board of Trustees for November 14th. I think we have both a regular and a closed session. But we also, if we can, approve the minutes from the special meeting. That's not, if we want to do that, and that's for the closed session for November 4th. I've got a copy of it or something.
I'll make that motion that we approve the minutes from the special meeting Friday, November 4th, and the regularly scheduled meeting Monday, November 14th as presented.
The open session minutes?
Open session, these are regular meetings, not closed.
Right.
Not closed.
So you do the
second
that, you second that, okay. Voice vote on that one? So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. No no's, so that passes. We also want to consider the minutes for the closed session. And if any minutes from closed sessions have to be reviewed at least every 6 months to see if they still remain closed. Given that and looking at these, you might want to consider going ahead and releasing these minutes if that feels reasonable to you guys.
That's fine with me if you'd like to do that.
Yeah, should we do that as a separate motion?
You do it as one combined, approve the minutes and release for inspection or retain as confidential. That's
Okay.
Release for inspection.
So I have a motion to...
I'll make a motion to release for inspection the closed session minutes for Monday, November 14th. Do you want to approve at the same time, Brian, or do you release them and then approve them?
It's one motion.
Okay, all right. I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So at this time, we'd like to open the floor for public comment. 5 minutes for any individuals who would like the opportunity to address the board.
I have something for the board. This is a petition to change the process by which we have board members. That goes to you as the...
No, actually, to me.
Goes to you, and then to Bob? Okay.
Up to me, yeah.
And then here's a set of copies. Is to change the membership of the board from the current appointed position to an elected position.
Make a note of how many petitions you got, or do you need to make anything for the record?
Mechanics of this.
Okay.
Carl had sent me a copy of a letter that had been distributed throughout the district, and I did some research on Section 4A of the Fire District Act, anticipating this might happen. So on presentation of petitions to change from an appointed to an elected board, a couple of things have to happen. One, we have to review it. Two, the election code requires that the petitions be presented to the board not less than 92 days prior to the election. The election is April 4th. That means they needed to be presented to the board not later than January 2nd. So by presenting them tonight, they've met that requirement. The law doesn't say what presenting to the Board of Trustees is other than this, so presumably this fits the bill because it's been formally presented to the board at a publicly held meeting. The next step with this is I'm going to take the petitions. I've got to take the petitions. I've got to go to the clerk's list. I've got to do some research. One, we've got to find how many electors are in the district. Two, we've got to find the names of them to ensure that we have 10% of the electors in the district. Then what I'll do is I'll prepare a resolution. The district's next meeting is on January 9th. The law, the election code provides that once these are presented to us, the secretary acting on the secretary's behalf, shall submit these to the county clerk for inclusion in the election. The 79th day it's really Sunday, January 15th, but it backs off to Friday the 13th, which is an appropriate date. So Friday the 13th, well, with our board meeting being on January 9th, we could have the resolution. That'll give me a little time to do the homework, to check to make sure the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. And then the board can act at the resolution on January 9th, and then I can file it with the election department of the county clerk's office in plenty of time to meet the election code deadline. The other thing, just to, so everybody's aware of, once we do this, there's a format for the question that's taken right from the statute. It's a direct lift. But Lake County now has a sufficient proportion of Hispanic and Spanish-speaking population that we're going to have to get a Spanish language version of the ballot question too, which it'll incur a little cost. When I've done them for Fox Lake and Antioch, I just did the Antioch one. It was a couple $100, so it's not like thousands, but you have to do it, so there's not a lot of choice. And I'll list myself as the contact because there's reading of proofs and all that, although I speak German, I don't speak Spanish, but they still have me read the Spanish proofs anyway, so anyway. So that's kind of what'll happen is, I'll take the originals, because the originals will need to be with the original petition that we file with the county clerk's office. But, like I said, we've got to make sure it meets those the two criteria. They're residents of the district and it's at least 10%. But, and in fact, there's nothing that says if it's more than that, it's no harm, no foul, so.
Sure.
So I'll take this and.
So we'll keep this on file here.
Right, and in fact I kind of thought that would be a good idea, just in case there's any questions of what was filed and all that, and because, been around the world too long. I mean, if anything can go wrong, it will, and somebody will lose the stupid thing. So that's why I wanted to have them, and then I'll make sure that it can all get taken care of and filed.
I'm sure you'll make sure, have the minutes reflect too.
Well, only because I'm preparing the minutes.
Yeah.
I bet you.
Very good. Okay. Anything else anyone would like to address the board on?
Just to be clear, 10% electors, the definition is registered voters.
Let me have a reading from the book. Because they use different terms. It tends to boil down to mean the same thing, but I don't want to misspeak either. 10% of the electors of the district. So persons who are eligible to vote, and that's why I've got to go to the county clerk and she's got to tell me if that number is. I don't. Just like getting a list of the names of the residents of the district. I don't know. I get to come up here, once a month, so it's like, and that's all I'll do is compare names.
So it's unclear at this point if it's registered voters or eligible voters.
It says electors. I think in my mind that would be eligible voters. Because you're just because if you're an eligible voter, if you're registered to vote, you're an elector. That doesn't mean you have to vote. If nobody votes, you're still ineligible.
So is an unregistered voter an elector?
No, I think you have to be registered.
No, just to be clear.
Who they are.
Yeah, the county, we wouldn't have no way of knowing who
It
they
would
were.
be on the ballot, right?
Hmm?
It would be on the ballot, that's why you couldn't be a non-registered voter, because it'd be on the ballot, and you can't vote in April.
Right. The only way we would count, it has to be 10% of the electors of the district. Well, the only way we know who the electors are is what the county clerk tells us. The county clerk tells us there's 12 million, which I won't, but I mean, then we just take 10% of that, and we gotta make sure we meet that.
Thank you.
Anything else? And moving on, into the attorney's report.
Just to let God bless Springfield.
I usually heard it the other way.
They finished the veto sessions, and if I say there's been some movement in the veto sessions, unfortunately, much of the movement that we're looking for hasn't come to fruition. We still don't have a budget. They have introduced a couple bills on pension reform. Pension doesn't really impact you yet, but for firefighters, full-time firefighters, it's a big deal. The one more applicable for police and firefighters, what they're doing for their pension funds is, if this bill becomes law, and it's still very early in the process, it would withdraw investment authority for pension funds from the pension fund across the state and centralize it with IMRF. All the other control, the applications, the hearings on disabilities, all that would stay local, which is good. I mean, I don't know how they can do that statewide, but it would withdraw that investment. So there's been a couple bills introduced. They could have special sessions in December. The General Assembly, this current session actually has 2 session dates scheduled in January, so there could still be action. So just be aware, if you hear it in the news, the game ain't done. And I'll tell you, when they passed this Tier 2 firefighter thing, it impacted, that bill went through the 2nd reading in the House, the 3rd reading in the House, passed the House, went to the Senate, had the 1st reading in the Senate, the 2nd reading in the Senate, and the 3rd reading in the Senate, and passed the Senate, all in the same day. I've never seen anything happen that quickly. But if they want to get something done, they'll get something done. So I think, you know, pension reform is one, the budget is another thing I think you see. And just to let you know, just because it says the veto session is done, doesn't mean the game ain't over. It is one of my favorite sayings, Arthur Conan Doyle attributes to Sherlock Holmes, the game is afoot, because it is. That's it.
Okay, thanks, Brian. All right, Chief's report.
I got a couple things. First off, this coming Sunday, I believe at 10 a.m. Tito's in Warmstein. 10 a.m. Santa will be going around the neighborhood for his annual run. Tim Worth is coming out on Friday. I'm on duty, but Mike's going to try to be down here to meet him to look at the ladder truck for the repairs that need to be made to that, which we have written in this budget year for capital. So hopefully we'll have a quote back on that here shortly. Also within the next 2 weeks, Marty from MPC, our radio vendor and installer, is coming to the station to install the radios in Mike's truck, as well as the cable for the engine radio head that was destroyed during the fire. Along with that, once I receive that bill from him, I will be settling all bills with fire service. They are trying to pull their files to get their stuff together to try and figure out what is what on that last bill we received, as well as this one to be added to it.
Right, and then I think then we also have the battery.
The Napa,
The Napa
correct.
battery. That should be
Correct.
out, as far as we know at this time.
It has not been paid by them.
Correct, we've paid,
We've
we
taken care of
paid
it.
NBC, but we need to be reimbursed.
Correct, we paid both of those bills, we just need to be reimbursed from it. Did we sign the contract with Kaluchkas for the snow plowing for the station? They were down here today and they salted and plowed today, however, the 2 snows prior to that, a couple of our guys did it, you know, because nobody showed up to do it.
We did,
Okay.
a month ago, so they did not do it, but they showed up to salt.
They were here today cleaning up the lot, and then Tim dropped some salt in the parking lot on some spots that were icy.
Would you like me to follow up with Tim and,
I know that there's some health issues within the family,
okay,
so I don't know if maybe that's what's the last
just follow up and
snows.
make sure they can do it, is that your,
Yeah,
make sure that we can get it
Yeah.
done?
if not, then, you know, our guys will continue to do it as much as they can
Okay.
during their routes or whatnot. But if we sign the contract with them, just make sure that they're,
Okay, I'll follow up on that.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank
Thanks,
you.
John.
The ballast in your office, the light that's out, Mike's got it ordered, and we'll be putting that in soon.
Thank you.
Something else we're looking at doing as well, probably written in the capital for next year, if you gentlemen choose to, is I guess now, and I'll refer to my electrician, now they make LED bulbs, we don't have to replace the ballast. So potentially looking at replacing all of the fluorescent tubes within the station and the bay with LED lighting, more cost efficient, or more energy efficient, and they last longer.
Yeah, I've done that in my kitchen, I'm very, very pleased with it, so. Me too.
It's gonna be probably a rather large expense to do it.
I've heard, I don't know how true this is, I've heard there are grants available to help with the costs of doing that. And I don't know if it's through, you know, ConEd or whatever, but I know districts who have gotten grants to help with some of the costs. Anyway, heck, anything is better than nothing.
I'll start doing a little bit of looking on that.
So that sounds like it'd be right up your alley if you wouldn't mind.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
We used a company in our own shop that came in and replaced everything for us, a number of years ago at no cost. And I actually called the guy a couple times and I haven't gotten a return phone call, so I'll jump on this and see if there's anything going for the, for municipal buildings like this.
I'd like to do it sooner than later, seeing
get on it
as the,
tomorrow. I'll make a call tomorrow, John.
how much are those ones out in the bay? The bulbs?
The 8-footers, 13 to 18 bucks a piece.
And we have a significant amount that are out there, so I would rather, if we're gonna start replacing them, I'd rather start doing it with the LED versus the fluorescent tubes. I would also like to do this, if possible, in one shot, because at that point, I'd like to rent a lift, so that we can just go ahead and change all the bulbs
Bays
for the
particularly.
bay, as well as then do those exterior LED lights that we purchased.
How tall is that?
I don't know.
I have a lift that I acquired. It has to be plugged in because it needs new batteries, but as long as it's plugged in, it runs around just fine. You're more than welcome to take it and use it all you want.
Perfect,
I
thank you.
think it'll lift high enough. If you ever need it to. It sits 364 days out of the year.
Do you know the height on it?
I
I think that ceiling's like, bottom of the joist is like 17 feet.
I guess we'd have to expand it up and look at it, but if we can use it versus
Oh,
renting
yeah.
it and, if you ever really need for, like I said, it sits, I kinda feel bad, but I couldn't let the guy throw it out.
No, absolutely.
In January, we're gonna have actually now two of our members attending the NIPSDA Fire Academy, starting in January, so they will be, it's gonna be Tony Graff and Griffin Gratz will be attending the Fire Academy NIPSDA starting in January. What else?
Oh, I've got the one guy all taken care of, so.
Okay, and I gotta get you the account to pull that out of. Met with Chief Crowley, Chief Graff, Chief Peace, and Chief Siebert today as a result of the meeting that you and I attended, which is no longer, I guess, a consolidation group, but more or less along the lines of a cost-cutting, cost-savings group.
Seems to be the focus at this time, yes.
And the chiefs were tasked with coming up with 3 different priorities on ways that, as a group, we can cut or look at cutting costs. And those results will be returned back to that group at our next meeting in January. And then finally, started end of the year payout today, pulling up everything for that, so I will go ahead and get that to you guys probably tomorrow.
Perfect. Guys, that was a question I had for you.
So I will go ahead and submit that, like I said, probably tomorrow morning, once I fine tune all the numbers.
And along with that, I've got to just let the payroll company, validate the, the W-2 information, so, unless somebody's noticed their social security number or their address has been wrong on their checks, let me know.
Okay.
But otherwise, we'll go ahead and validate that.
Okay, perfect. And then I just have one bill that was on my desk I had asked you about, it's just parts to replace the hose, some of the hoses in the base. And then Dan, you got the credit card statement.
I didn't get the breakdown.
It's in the box.
It's in the
Yeah.
box, okay, then that's fine.
Okay.
We'll get it after me. That's what I was gonna ask is if you had that.
Let me
then
grab it because the majority of it's pancake
Okay,
day.
all right,
That way we can rectify that statement as well.
okay.
And that's all I have.
Oh, okay, I have a couple of questions for you when you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
He's running the link.
I know what that was. That's the wrench for the door.
Yeah.
It's in the box.
Yes, sir.
Oh, just a couple of quick things. Did you get a chance to get over to Costco to get your picture taken?
I have not had an opportunity yet, probably, I'm on duty tomorrow, Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay. After you just let me know what the membership number is, so that I
Okay.
can go ahead and get the Visa card issued, for you. So, we shut the other one down.
Okay.
That was one thing. And the other, just to, we've got the BIS assessment on Wednesday.
Correct.
Did you get a chance to look at his letter and all the things he's going over?
I've looked at a little bit of it, yes.
Okay. Take a good look. I think it'd be good to be prepared. The one question I had, he had a whole bunch of stuff about basically personnel policies. And, I can handle the payroll stuff, but when it comes to, well, we got all this, which we're supposed to have, but are there written, personnel policies that, like maybe out on the H drive or something like that?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
yeah, we wanna make sure we have those for
Okay.
Google again. I think I mentioned it to you guys, our insurer is doing a risk reduction assessment. They're gonna come out, spend, the afternoon on Wednesday, going, looking at the vehicles and going over things and talking about operational procedures and personnel issues and everything. So they can come back with any sort of best practices that might help reduce our risk, since they are our insurer. So I think that's
Yep.
a good thing to take advantage of, so. Okay. That's it. Thank
Great,
you.
thanks.
All right. Dan, treasurer's report?
Oh, do you have that breakdown, John? And that's, okay. So all the question marks you got filled in then, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay. This side, right. No, I am, I'm gonna keep it right, so I got it right there.
Perfect.
Treasury report, fund balances, Lake Forest Bank and Trust, 31,145.54. Northern Trust Station Reserve, 36,357.42. Northern Trust Capital Investment, 162,032.25. Northern Trust Checking, 353,373.67, and petty cash, 2905, bringing a total of $582,939.93. Budget tracking. Everything is at about the 55 to 60% mark right now. The things that are over, the 99%, are the liability taxes or liability funds, ambulance funds, all the things that get paid out.
Less the money coming in.
Right, the money coming, right, this coming in is almost all in. Total expenses, as you look down, everything is running at roughly 50 to 60% or less, again, with the exception of a couple, like the turnout gear, which was the, the expenditure up front. Building operations is a little high, but not too bad. Liability insurance gets paid up front, that's why it's at 97%. And then, of course, the SCBA, which we know will correct itself next year. And can I get a motion to approve that?
To approve the treasurer's report? I will second it. Okay. Roll call votes. Bob? Aye. Dan?
Aye.
Carl? Aye. That's great, thank you.
Okay, next, checks to be approved. Northern Trust, principal and interest. I'm just gonna run through them pretty quick. Comcast, ComEd, Groot. Mutual aid alarm box system, $20. That's an in and out. That looks like for Knox box keys, right? Air One, hydro test of the 7 cylinders. Landscaping, shared auto parts. I think we got those all finally cleared up, other than the battery that's still hanging, right?
We paid it, but.
Right, we paid it, but I mean, getting reimbursed for it, right? Village of Libertyville, ambulance, Illinois Association Fire Protection, then we've got payroll. Lake County Public Works, gotta keep water going. TDS is phone. Fire alarm is the purchase of the turnout gear. Longy HVAC is repair and maintenance on the HVAC unit. City, we just went over the Citibank statement, we've got the breakdown on it. Henry Sheem, is that how you pronounce it? Scheim?
Yes.
Right, that's for the EMS supplies. Paul Conway, the Amcus Repair, Unique Apparel Solutions, Team Gear, Fleet Services is Fuel, North Shore Gas and North Shore Sanitary District, totaling $64,017.84. I would respectfully request a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve those bills. I will second that. Roll call vote. Dan?
Aye.
Carl? Aye. Bob?
Aye.
Okay. Before we move on, there's a couple of other things that I would want to put under here. Oh, well, I did want to, as you mentioned, building operations. We have about, in the budget, about $2,700 left.
Right.
But we've got the garage door issue, so I think we might want to just talk about that for a minute.
Okay,
Have you gotten a number on that yet?
I have not,
Okay.
so, we might have to put it off till next meeting. I think it was around the $2,000 mark, as I remember.
Okay, yeah, because that'll bring us down in that account to about 700, and that's where like snow plowing and all that stuff comes out of, so we're probably kind of close on that one, so, yeah, if we don't know, well, I mean, we could go ahead and do a approved not to exceed kind of thing, you know, so that when it comes in, we can pay it, or we could just wait it.
Wait, it's fine to wait.
Fine. And the other was for the Northern Illinois Association of Fire Protection District conference.
Okay.
That, I know you guys went to the statewide one in Peoria, and I was thinking of going to do a one-day, you know, no stay over here, and again, you know, if any of you guys were interested in going to any sessions, but I was, but if I go for Friday, take the whole day, that'll be $275 plus, you know, travel expenses to, was it Oak Brook, I think, yeah. So, we can just put that on the company credit card if that's okay. So
It's fine with me.
given that, should we go ahead and just do
And a motion to approve trustee Snowden attending the Northern Alliance Conference on Friday, January 27th, to be paid for by the district, with invoices to be provided, or statements provided.
So moved.
Second.
roll call? Bob?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Carl? Aye. That's it for the treasurer's report and invoices. Now, what we're all here for, the ordinance 2016-02, making and assessing the tax levy for 2016. I think we've probably, you know, sent it out electronically.
There's 4 copies here,
Okay.
and like I said, you'll sign all 4, I'll take one and leave you one for the files.
Okay, and the numbers in this is the same as what we're in truth in taxation, so basically, corporate fund, 362,849, ambulance fund, 256,495, tort and liability fund is 23,078, the social security insurance program fund is 10,490, and Medicare is 2,622, for a total of $655,534. That's what we will levy. We will not get that much because of PTEL, but that's what we will levy. That stays within, again, within our truth and taxation,
Right.
and also with our the corporate fund is at 4% and
Corporate and ambulance.
yeah, and it's that will be right at 0.4. The others are all below. Ambulance is below. The others have no limit other than PTEL. So, I guess we need a motion to pass the ordinance 2016 adopting and levying the taxes for the Rockland Fire Protection District for 2016.
Make a motion to approve the ordinance, making and assessing tax levy.
Second.
Yep, second.
Okay. That'll be a voice vote, I'm sure.
Roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Dan?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Carl? Aye. Okay. So we can start signing those.
You want to sign them now, or do you want to sign them after the meeting?
I think we can sort of work. So anything on the joint services for Lake Bluff?
No, John and I are waiting for that study to be done, right? And then we'll
Yes,
go
which
ahead.
is still, they're still waiting on the results of,
Right.
that to come back.
Okay. Then we'll
What was that, ICMA study?
Yes.
Yes.
On the Hilltop property, nothing new on that. I know they wanted to get together after their November meeting, which was after our November meeting. So I'll reach out to them and see if we can get something set up, probably in early January, to go ahead and meet with them. And that sort of does dovetail, Bob, with the contract too, so be interested to see where that is. Okay, so that's that. The Lake Forest Joint Fire and EMS Task Force. As Chief Harlow mentioned, we met about a week and a half ago, And we had the mayor, city manager, and fire chiefs for Highland Park, Lake Forest, and then,
Lake Bluff, Libertyville.
well, Lake Bluff and Libertyville, the mayors were missing. I mean, they meant to be, but both of them were tied up in other things. And then, you know, I was kind of joking with Dan, so I guess maybe, you know, I get to be mayor of Knoll since we don't have a mayor. Not that I'd want that job, for sure. Anyways, so we met. I thought it was a good meeting. As John said, it really was focused around cost-saving opportunities that the group could participate in. There was a lot of discussion about vehicles. You know, just sort of saying, is that something that as a group we might look at, you know, kind of rationalizing the vehicles so the next time, building an inventory of what we all have together and looking at, you know, replacement dates and seeing if there could be some sharing there and things that, also a lot, they really grilled Highland Park on their taking over of Highwood and how that was going, what, about 6 months in?
6 to 8 months, yeah.
Yeah, into that, so there was, I think, a lot of interest on how that was going. I think one of the interesting things was that Highland Park had said that it was like rule one going in, they wouldn't touch it otherwise, that they would not add a single shift or staff position whatsoever. They felt they had the capacity to do it, and if they had to add anybody, that deal was off. And so they feel pretty good about it right now. Obviously, there are going to be some people in the community that aren't necessarily happy about it, but they feel overall that's working out. And then, as John said, the next day they tasked the chiefs with having a meeting in between. Because we're going, we'll be meeting about once a month. But the chiefs are going to, you know, meeting in between to see. They said they're the ones who really know the operations, and to keep the rest of us from doing something really stupid, that they could, you know, come up with some things and you know, keep us from, like I said, shooting ourselves in the foot. Now, John, is anything else on this?
I think that's about it. Like I said, we met today, and we're just kind of trying to refine our list, going back and forth through emails and trying to fine tune what we want to present on ways that we can, you know, find to save or cut costs or do things better or do things together.
Yeah, and well, you mentioned, you know, obviously we've been working very closely with Lake Bluff on training, and it looks like Lake Forest might be a little interested in that. So, all good things.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think these are very positive things. I like to see this taking this approach right now in terms of, you know, how as we, you know, working together, how can we save money? So it's a kind of a win-win situation. So, all right. Bob, on the ambulance contract.
I've had a couple of conversations with Chief Karani over the proposal that he gave us at the last meeting and that was available to us. I expressed my concern about the kind of the same contract that we have now, basically, but then any of the ambulance calls coming out of the nursing home would be all additional. And I expressed to him my concern that not knowing what that's going to be, that could be a pretty dramatic hit on our part. He is in the process of revising the agreement and trying to account for that and build that that problem into it to kind of ease any burden that might come up. So as soon as he has that ready, then I will bring it back to the board and for them to look at.
Great. Building loan.
We just approved the minutes to the meeting that we had, where we had two different banks come in, Wintrust and First American. We also solicited and met with Harris Bank. Of the three, only one has presented us with a proposal. The other two have been asked on 3 separate occasions to either come to a meeting or present us a written proposal. I've shared the, rephrase that. The other 2 trustees also have the copy of the Wintrust proposal. The concern of ours was paying it off early. The rate that they were offering us is 2.8% for a 7-year loan to keep our principal and interest at the $7,500 we're paying now. What that would do is, at the end of the seventh, or no, you're just gonna do it for 8 years, right? They said it extended out to 8, because we were gonna go a 9th year.
No.
They were gonna
It
go
balloon-
8,
Yeah, no, there's 7, I don't recall that.
7 and finish it in the 8th year, is that how it's gonna be?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I understood.
Okay.
Well, it's, they're gonna give us that interest rate for 7 years, and then it
Right.
balloons.
Right,
And it would
Then
take about 13 months
to finish it
to
off.
finish it off, but it will be at whatever the current interest rate is.
Right, so that would be dealt with 7 years from now, with basically 1 year left in the term of the loan. So, our concern was, what happens if we do this now to take advantage of the 2.8% interest rate? What is Northern Trust gonna do to us? So I talked to David Lee, and his initial calculation was we would have a prepayment penalty of $26,000. That was a little tough to swallow. Upon further review, with the assistance of Wintrust, they're down to roughly $3,000. I think that based on the 2.8% rate and the uncertainty of waiting until, is it April? April. I would like the board to consider moving ahead with this locked-in rate that we have now and absorbing the $3,000 early payment penalty. I think it makes sense from the fact that rates simply can go up.
Yeah, I think they're
It's-
probably like
I
that. I
think
did a
it's-
little bit of work with the amortization, and basically that $3,000 is worth about 1 point. So if we, if it went from, if we, because they're only gonna guarantee the 2.8 until, like January. So if we don't, we'll still get a loan, but it'll be whatever the rate is. If it goes up to 2.9, we've lost the $3,000. So
Right.
it strikes me that paying $3,000 is probably wise to buy that interest rate security.
Right.
Giving every reason to believe that interest rates are gonna go up.
Right, additionally, and I think I spoke with you on it briefly, John, and I'll mention now as well, you might, they're interested in being partners down here, not just the guys that collect a check each month. They're interested in talking about underwriting things and helping out. They're interested in having a day set up that you guys could notify all the members of the fire department. They would bring a representative out, help them with any thoughts of refinancing, help with direct deposit if they'd like to set up accounts. They really want to be partners with everybody that's involved here. They're only, I won't say stipulation because they can't do it, but they've respectfully requested that we move our accounts to their bank, and that seems like a fairly reasonable request. So, Mike or John, do you have any thoughts or comments?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Okay, if that's the case,
Just for
Go ahead.
our current note is at 3.5%. So going
Right.
at 2.8, I was surprised they were that low.
Yeah, I was stunned.
I'm very pleased with that.
Couple questions.
Yes.
How do we go from a $24,000 penalty to $3,000?
David was incorrect.
Okay,
They got together with him, went a little further up the ladder, and and Northern was agreeable to let us out of it early to lock in with Wintrust with this rate for $3,000.
and then we're looking at a potential balloon for 13 months? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yes, if we go with this, and it's about 13 months. I did have them run an amortization where we paid it off in 7 years, right?
So we're.
But it'll be a larger payment if
Each month.
if we did that.
What are we looking at as far as
Okay.
payment for?
Right now, we're 7,500, which is what,
Correct.
which we're very comfortable with.
Correct.
It would go up by almost $1,000 a month. It would go up by $999, or $990, so roughly $12,000 a year. Okay? What that would ultimately, the balloon is about $99,000, but that's, again, at that rate, it's about 13 months of payments to get it paid off. So, I would say, if we went with that, we'd end up spending about $16,000. Well, I should say, a difference of 16. Yeah, we'd save about $16,000 if we went ahead and paid it off in 7 years rather than. Or, I'm not saying that right. It's going to. Yeah, instead of being right. The amount actually, the $990 for 84 months is $83,000, right? So we pay $83,000 to not pay $99,000, so it's a $16,000 savings. But it kills our cash flow. That means I'm coming to you and saying, I need you to reduce your budget by $12,000 every year for the next 7 years, as opposed to staying where we're at.
Sure.
And, you know, if you feel you can trim $12,000 off your budget each year for the
General?
yeah,
You're saying?
yeah, for the next 7 years, I'd be happy to do that. But cash, I mean, as you say,
Right, we didn't ever want to up the cash.
getting a balanced budget is hard enough.
Yeah.
Without me asking you to give me another $12,000.
Right, and they were real open. They said, well, first off, at the end of 7 years, it can be hard for us if we don't help you out and get you through the last 13 months to foreclose on a fire department. He said, I don't think we've ever done that. It wouldn't look good in the public to try to foreclose on the local fire department. So, you know, I think in year 5 or 6, they're more than willing to sit down and start looking at those final 13 months to get us through at roughly the same dollar amount, the $7,500. And that was the key when we met with them, was to make sure that we didn't increase the payment. So we didn't disrupt the budget and the money you have to work with.
And at the 3.5% rate, it would have been about a year and a half. So it's like a year and 2 months, year and 3 months. The other thing is that's interesting, because it goes along with what Dan was saying, is that this is not a mortgage. This is just a loan. There is no mortgage on this building. There is currently with Northern Trust. They don't want a mortgage on this building because, as Dan said, they can't foreclose on a fire department. So they're just giving us a straight commercial loan with no actual.
Who's gonna hold title then?
To the building?
Yeah.
We do.
We do. There's no, it's not a mortgage. It's
There's
just
no
a,
security interest?
no,
No,
it's unsecured.
it's unsecured.
They must like you a lot.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, no, they were very, very generous in this.
Why we didn't hear back from the other 2 banks.
They need some more customers.
No, they get it. They spent, in their defense, they spent 2 months reviewing a lot of documents. They were really, really thorough. Had a lot of questions back and forth with Carl and myself. And then the meeting here was a real good meeting. They toured the building, walked around, asked questions. So they've done their due diligence. They know what they're getting into. And to be honest with you, they're pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
So
We do have one checking account with them already, so we've been, doing business with them for 6 or 7 years already.
The gentleman is Steve Malota. He tracked me down when he got down to the 3,000. He wanted to make sure that we knew that for this meeting we were ready to go, because they're ready to go and they're anxious to get to know everybody here and get the deal inked.
Okay.
So, if everybody else is okay, I'd like to make a motion to accept Wind Trust's proposal for the loan for Rockland Fire Protection District in the amount of roughly $347,000 or the outstanding balance on the current loan. It'll move a little bit day to day.
It's about $640,000.
Okay, they had it here at 47.
Oh, 647,000 is exactly right. I think you said 300.
Yeah, I did.
Are they rolling that penalty into the loan?
That I don't know.
I would just go pay it.
We just pay it off out of capital. At 2.8% for 7 years, the P&I monthly payment will be $7,500. May I have a second?
I said. Okay, we need to do a roll call vote on that. Carl, aye. Dan?
Aye?
Bob? Aye.
I will get the documents prepared for you, Carl, and the board, and if we need to get together ahead of time to sign anything, we'll call a quick special meeting to sign papers, or if we can stop it individually, we'll do so.
Okay. Okay, great, thank you, Dan, for all the work on that.
I'm excited for the guys too. They really want to get to know everybody down here, and they want to be a partner in things.
Very good. So, I think that's it for regular business. Any non-agenda items? Discuss? No? Nominations, resignations, terminations for the fire department?
No, sir.
Okey-dokey. I guess that's it then. So, have a motion to adjourn at 7:15.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.